From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Governor Walker today issued disaster declarations for two separate December storms that battered communities along the Aleutians and Bering Sea.
The governor's action activated the state's public assistance program designed to help communities restore their critical infrastructure to a pre-disaster condition, fund emergency protective measures, and fund evaluation of the damages. On December 10th, the National Weather Service issued the first of several coastal flooding warnings for the Aleutian Islands, Bering Sea Islands, and western coastline of Alaska. The storms impacted a number of communities, with most severe damage to St. George's and Togiak seawalls. The state of Alaska and FEMA have conducted a preliminary damage assessment in St. George to gather data that will be used in the state's request for federal public assistance for the St. George seawall.
Around December 10th, a storm impacted St. George, and that caused significant damage to their seawall that protects their harbor. The second one was to Togiak, and again to a seawall. We want to get out there and make sure that these communities have those seawalls to protect them, and so the governor has activated our state's public assistance programs to go out there and repair that critical infrastructure.
Fairbanks police are investigating the death of a Fort Wainwright soldier. Army officials today announced that 25-year-old Sergeant Nathan Michael Higginbotham died of an apparent accidental gunshot wound to the head Sunday morning at a home on Garrity Avenue. The sergeant was assigned to 5th Squadron, 1st Cavalry Regiment, 1st Stryker Brigade Combat Team, 25th Infantry Division at Fort Wainwright. Higginbotham, a native of New York State, reportedly died after a privately owned firearm he was handling accidentally discharged. No others were harmed in the accident, and no foul play is suspected.
An accident between three vehicles on Van Horn Road and Industrial Avenue totaled one car today. A red car traveling east on Van Horn crashed into a black Jeep from behind as it was making a right turn onto Industrial Avenue. After the initial collision, one of the vehicles hit a truck waiting to turn onto Van Horn at a stop sign. No one was injured during the accident. The Jeep and truck only sustained superficial damage from the crash. Officer Eric Hoffman with the Fairbanks Police Department says the owner of the red car was driving with a suspended license and will be cited for the crash. Hoffman adds that people need to be cautious on the roads and be aware of other drivers.
The last few days we've had a ton of collisions. It's a little bit icier than normal, but really it comes down to drivers paying attention. The majority of our collisions the last couple of days are, really can't be summed up to ice. It's just purely people not paying enough attention to what they're doing. It's nice out, it's warm, it's sunny, it's starting to feel like spring. Gotta watch the road, and that's what it comes down to.
The North Pole City Council is voting on a pair of marijuana-related ordinances tonight. City Mayor Bryce Ward has sponsored a measure that would levy a 6% excise tax on the wholesale distribution of marijuana products brought into city limits. His ordinance also levies a 6% tax on all retail marijuana transactions made within the city. Councilman Thomas McGee is co-sponsoring with the mayor an ordinance to establish commercial marijuana regulations for North Pole. Under the measure, the council would be able to protest the issuance, renewal, transfer, relocation, or continued operation of a marijuana license. The measure puts in place an annual permitting fee schedule of $1,000 for a retail vendor and a $500 annual fee for cultivation, manufacturing, and testing facilities.
The mayor's being very understanding and to me a little bit lenient when it comes to the fees, the scheduled fees and permitting, but at the same time, it's a fair issue of what he's dealing with as far as what the fees and the amounts are going to be. But as far as any restrictions or regulations, they're no different than what we already have for alcohol and tobacco. So we're not making it any different. We're not trying to put it out as some sort of more taboo. It's just we want to regulate it and be prepared for it when the state says the permits are available.
When we come back, the Alaska legislature is looking into a bill that would ensure all workplaces in the state are smoke-free. We'll have the details.
Also, Alaska Ammo raised quite a bit of money for Man's Best Friend over the month of January through donations and raffle giveaways. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. The American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network released statistics on a poll showing the number of Alaskans that would like to see the state's workplaces become smoke-free. The poll shows that 88% of Alaskans believe all Alaska workers should be protected from exposure to secondhand smoke in the workplace. 69% favor passage of a law prohibiting smoking in workplaces, public buildings, offices, restaurants, and bars. The Alaska legislature is currently considering Senate Bill 1, the Take It Outside Act, which would protect all Alaskan workers from secondhand smoke and e-cigarette aerosol in any indoor workplace. Organizations that support the bill's passage say they endorse better public health and better fiscal health for Alaskans by saving them from the health care costs that come from a smoky environment.
Tobacco-related illnesses kill more people every year than prostate, breast cancer, and colon cancer combined. And so if we're able to reduce the medical costs related to that by more people not being sick because they have chronic illnesses like asthma, or they're older and so their systems are a little bit weaker, pregnant women, et cetera, people that are vulnerable, they tend to get ill or get respiratory-related illnesses because of exposure to secondhand smoke. Doing so, having people take it outside will help to reduce that. And so we have less people missing days from school and days from work.
If you thought the past month of January was a little warm, you're correct. In fact, the Weather Service says this past month of January will be one we may all remember. You have to go back to 1966 to find a January in snow drought to the extent this past one was. And as far as warmth, believe it or not, this January was only the 9th warmest on record. The whole month averaged 12 degrees warmer than a normal January would be. If we make it till the 22nd of February with temperatures not falling below 30 below, it will be the only one on record where the thermometer has not dropped to that number. And that, according to officials, is a realistic possibility.
Well, El Nino is still pretty strong, but it's on its downhill trend. But for the near future, it's still going to be exerting some pretty significant weather over Alaska in terms of keeping us warmer than normal and keeping us drier than normal. That's going to keep on going well into the month.
Several customers got to play with 2 saved dogs from the Arctic German Shepherd Rescue at Alaska Ammo on Saturday. Now, the ammo store has been raising money for the shelter since early January. The fundraiser culminated over the weekend with a visit from rescue volunteers and dogs they housed. The Arctic German Shepherd Rescue is a nonprofit home-based shelter for German Shepherds that have been abused or left behind by their previous owners. Alaska Ammo raised over $650 for the rescue through customer donations and raffle giveaways. Volunteer Alexis Will says the rescue organization plans to use the funds to help the dogs in their care.
And if anyone has a dog, they know that they need bowls, toys, leashes, collars, and also most of our dogs, when they leave the rescue, usually leave with some of those initial things that they'll need to start life with.
Joe Cook is up next with a loaded weekend recap in local sports.
He'll also tell us about a change to the start area for the Yukon Quest. It's all coming up after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Time for the weekend recap in local sports this Monday evening. But first, news from the Yukon Quest. There will be a change to the location of the start line and the starting area. In a press release this afternoon from the Quest, the start line will now be on the river side of the Morris Thompson Cultural and Visitor Center at 101 Dunkel Street in Fairbanks, and will go on. And the trail will go on to the Chino River. There was a lot of jumbo ice on the original start area, the Chino River, so the location was moved to ensure safety. 23 mushers will take off for the 33rd Yukon Quest this Saturday. Executive Director Marty Stewart describes the scene at the old start line.
Jumbled up ice that's sticking up and providing all sorts of opportunities for sprained ankles, broken legs, and just really awful walking for not just the dogs and the mushers, but for all of the fans that come down to watch the race. The teams will go off and go underneath the Wendell Street Bridge and then continue on the same route.
The Alaska Nanooks wrapped up non-conference hockey action in Wisconsin on Saturday night. Friday, the Nanooks fell 3-4 in a close game, but Saturday, third period got away from them. It was tied 1-1 at the end of the first period, and it was still tied 2-2 early in the third. But the Badgers, they scored 3 unanswered goals in an 8-minute span in the final period to pull away for a 5-2 win. John Mulally led Alaska with a goal and assist in the loss as the Badgers get the sweep. UF will be back home to pick up WCHA play against Ferris State this weekend. The Nanooks sit in 9th place in the conference. Fairbanks Ice Dogs took care of business in front of their home fans at the Big Dipper this weekend. Saturday was the final game of their 3-game Stick It to Cancer series against the Kenai River Brown Bears. Check this out. New Ice Dog and former Brown Bear Cameron Cook, he's my cousin because we have the same last name. He scored the first goal of the game to put his new team up on top in the first period. Defense was good on both sides. Nick Nast made 34 saves for Kenai, but C.J. Booth, he countered with 26 big saves. Jacob Streisberg, he put the Dogs up 2-0 with a power play goal in the second. He had a goal and an assist. Todd Burgess, he added another power play goal tally in the third. And Fairbanks wins the series and the game 3-0. Booth was the player of the game as he gets his first shutout as an Ice Dog in the win.
Just keep talking to myself, just keep reminding myself to stay calm, not get too antsy, and that, I can do it. I can stop the clock.
It's an unbelievable opportunity. I couldn't be happier, coming here to Fairbanks from Kenai. It's been a great experience. I've been welcomed, so welcomed by the fans and the teammates. I couldn't be happier.
And the UAF men's basketball team stopped a 2-game skid at home on Saturday. They took on the St. Martin Saints in conference action on Alaska Airlines court. Alaska executed on both sides of the ball. They needed that to win a relatively close game. The Nooks led by just 3 at the break, 43-40, but the inside-outside punch of seniors Almir Hadjisevich and Javante Williams was key as both scored 22 points. Alaska shot 49% and forced 16 turnovers in an 85-77 win. The Nanooks are now 14-6 overall and 8-4 in the GNAC, which is tied for 4th place.
I think we want to try whole year, to play like this. We try, every game, is a new challenge for us. For me, it's like we're trying to win this thing, and I think we're playing very hard.
Especially coming off the Western Oregon, Seattle Pacific. I mean, we had back-to-back playing really good teams, so this was good to bounce back and get ready for our 4-game road trip.
And in high school sports, a local hockey team brought back some state hardware to the interior over the weekend. It wasn't any of the boys' teams. This one is for the ladies. Saturday, the Arctic Bears girls hockey team defeated Diamond West 3-2 in the girls' state hockey game. Kaya Victorino, Isabel Hughes, and Brooke Knowles scored for the Bears. Aliyah Bruni made 17 saves as well. It's the second straight Alaska Girls State Hockey Tournament Championship for the Arctic Bears program. Congratulations to those ladies. And we wrap up the weekend recap with some of the best plays of the week in the I-5 Interior Top 5 Plays.
Starting us out at number 5, UAF's Bengali Kaba zings a pass to a streaking Brandon Davis, who catches and finishes in one motion on the fast break in a 69-79 loss to SPU on Thursday night. Number 4, Latham's Glenn Maiden Jr. hits a step-back three-pointer to beat the buzzer at the end of the third quarter as Latham wins 68-19 over Hutchinson on Wednesday. Number 3, Cornelius Mingo Jr. crosses over and hits a layup with a high degree of difficulty. His play came in a 60-54 win over the rival Lathrop Malamutes on Thursday. Number 2, West Valley senior Gabe Rankin can flat out put the puck in the net, and he did that 4 times in a 10-1 win over North Pole on the Wolfpack senior night on Wednesday. He finished with 6 points. At number 1, it's the first. Ice Dogs goalie C.J. Booth gets his first shutout as an Ice Dog on Saturday night, making 26 saves, important ones at that, in a 3-0 win over the Brown Bears. He allowed 1 goal in his last 2 games for Fairbanks. To vote for the play of the week, click on your favorite play on the I-5 poll on webcenter11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube post and at KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The play of the week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that's it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with weather, and as always, we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into our Monday Night News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. Hope you had yourself a good weekend. It wasn't too bad. We had some clouds and a little bit of light snow Saturday, but boy, today it was just gorgeous, although it was a little chilly. We are looking at temperatures to warm up. In fact, taking a look at what we're talking about tonight, we are looking at a little cooler temperatures tonight, but then a slow warming trend as we head toward the rest of the week. Also, once again, no snow is expected into next week. And then we're also looking at air quality problems. Well, actually, air quality problems have propped up. In fact, this is what the latest air quality alert is telling you. For Fairbanks, it's a stage 2 unhealthy for sensitive groups. And North Pole is a stage 3, just flat out unhealthy. And that air quality alert is in effect through tomorrow at 5 p.m. Here's what's going on in our satellite and radar. High pressure really dominating the overall weather scene. We talked about it earlier in our story. As you can see, everything's being pushed off way off to the southeast and the southwest. Nothing making it into the interior. That's going to continue. As far as what's going on across the rest of the state, a few showers around Ketchikan, not too bad at Juneau, 34 degrees there. A little chilly in Anchorage, 20 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Some showers around Kodiak, 31. Elsewhere along the Aleutian chain, Cold Bay at 34, partly cloudy skies, also 34 at Bethel with mostly sunny skies, more clouds in the Nome area, 29 degrees. Barrow at 3 above, they're still continuing above 0, which is incredible for this time of year, and 6 below at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather, we've got a lot to talk about here. A winter storm is really cranking up, bringing blizzard conditions to Denver. It's stretching all the way across into the Iowa area, so it'll be affecting their caucus the groups that are getting together tonight. And then you see another storm system moving across the Pacific Northwest. Over to the east, a few showers and thunderstorms. Nothing really associated with this storm over the Central Plains, but that's really getting going and becoming a very powerful feature. As you can see, the snowfall totals, almost 1.5 feet of snow expected where that dark blue area is, and the outer edges almost a foot of snow, so it's going to be continuing. Now the good news is all things quiet down completely. The jet stream will be way down to the south, and that will allow mainly just zonal flow and not too much going on, no major storms to talk about, and that's good news. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather. A new school this week. We're going to be talking with the kids from University Park Elementary School, and tonight here's a young man with a story to share with you.
My brother was in the midnight sun run. When he got to the finish line, I saw a flash of lightning. I saw big black clouds in the sky. There was thunder and lightning everywhere, but then it stopped and we left.
Thank you, Holden, and thanks to Mount McKinley Bank, as always, for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, a young lady will be here with a picture she's drawn of rain. Here's your forecast for the northern sections for Alaska for tomorrow. Dense morning fog for Barrow. Flurries expected at Nome, and just mostly cloudy skies in the Fort Yukon area. Temperature's not too bad, 26 at Nome. Here in the interior, looks pretty good. Another day of a lot of sunshine with temperatures warming up slowly, a little bit warmer than they were today, 6 degrees at Fairbanks, but 18 at Haley. Over southeast Alaska, a little rain in the forecast. Down over the Ketchikan area, showers and mixed rain and snow at Juneau with 40 degrees at Ketchikan. Over the southwest part of the state, we'll be looking at rain and snow at Cold Bay and also at Kodiak with just scattered clouds in the Bethel region. And over the south central sections around the Anchorage Bowl, partly cloudy skies for Anchorage with rain and snow expected at Homer and a chance of snow in the Valdez area. Here's your temperatures and your numbers out at the airport right now. Looking at a high of 4 degrees today, right now 1 degree. The low last night 13 below. Record high 43 in 1940, 57 below in 1910. And the sunrise and sunset not quite 7 hours of daylight. We'll go over 7 hours tomorrow with a gain of 6 minutes. Our forecast for tonight, mostly clear skies. A little morning fog is possible. Overnight lows pretty chilly, 15 below. Tomorrow's forecast, a little bit warmer than it was today, 6 degrees, lots of sunshine once again. And the extended forecast, there's your slow warming trend. As you can see, temperatures very consistent, looking at 10 to 15 degrees above 0 for the high. Overnight lows will also once again be very comfortable, right around the 5-degree mark. And our picture for tonight, another beautiful shot, another great sunset. This one sent in by Nancy Hummel. And you can see why it's called Fire in the Sky. It looks like one. Again, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos at ktvf11.com.
Another really pretty one.
I never get tired of those. Those are great.
And I can't believe it. This is going to be some great weather coming up for the start of the Yukon Quest.
Yeah, I'm excited because it won't be like freezing cold.
Right.
So
should be around 15. Should be around 15 above.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Of course, starting right here in Fairbanks. So everybody come on out. It's going to be pretty cool.
That's awesome. We still got a week. All right, can't wait. Saturday. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
And tonight on NBC Nightly News, Iowa voters are getting a chance to settle the Republican and Democratic races tonight with their state's caucus. That's up next with Lester Holt.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Remember to drive carefully. The streets are slick.
Yes.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.